If you're running a home care agency, you know that supervisory visits are, well, they're a must. But let's be honest, navigating all the rules can be a real headache. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that confusion. We'll give you a super clear, actionable guide to mastering these visits. Let's get right into it. Okay, so here's our game plan. We've broken this down into 5 key parts. First, we'll talk about why you even do these visits. Then we'll get into how often they need to happen and the flexibility you have. We'll also dive into exactly what you should be assessing, cover the non-negotiable annual in-person rule, and wrap up with the all-important topic of documentation. So let's jump right in. All right, first up, let's talk about the purpose. Once you really get the why behind these regulations, all the other rules just start to click and make a whole lot more sense. And really, it all boils down to 2 simple things: quality and safety. This right here, this is the core mission. It's the North Star for everything else we're going to talk about. Every visit, every assessment, every single piece of paperwork is designed to make sure of 2 things. 1, that the member is safe, and 2, that they are getting the exact care laid out in their personal plan. It's all about accountability and, delivering on the promises you make to your clients. Okay, so now that we get the why, let's dig into the when and the how. How often do these visits actually need to happen, and what methods can you use? This is where a lot of agencies get tripped up, so let's make this crystal clear. Here it is, the baseline you have to remember. A supervisory visit needs to happen at least once every 3 months. Now, I'm really stressing at least here. Why? Because if a situation calls for more frequent check-ins, say for some extra staff training or to sort out an issue, then you absolutely need to do them more often. This is the minimum standard, folks, not a ceiling. Now for some good news. The rules actually give you a good amount of flexibility in how you do these quarterly visits. Of course, you can go in person, but you can also use telehealth options, like a video conference call or even just a regular phone call. This is awesome for efficiency, but, and this is a big but, there's a huge exception. And this is absolutely critical, so listen up. If there is any kind of safety concern, anything at all, that flexibility we just talked about, it goes right out the window. The rule is super clear. You have to make every single effort to get there in person. Member safety always, always, always comes first. It trumps the convenience of telehealth every time. This slide is perfect for clearing things up. On the left, you've got your general supervision. That's the one that happens every 3 months, and it's flexible. Telehealth is okay. On the right, you have the annual evaluation. That's just once a year, but it must be in person, and it's focused on evaluating the worker. It's so important not to get these 2 mixed up. Okay, so you're doing the visit, whether it's on the phone or you're there in person, what exactly are you supposed to be looking for? It's definitely not just a casual chat. There's a very clear checklist of things you need to assess every single time you connect. Just think of these 4 points as the pillars of every single visit. Number 1, is the member satisfied with their care? Number 2, does your staff member actually have the skills and the competence to do their job right? 3, is the home environment safe? And finally, number 4, are they really truly following that member's specific plan of care? You have to hit all 4 of these every time. And here's another crucial point you can't forget. You can't just talk to the member alone every single time. The rules are specific. A staff member has to be present for at least one of these quarterly visits. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's essential for actually validating their skills and seeing how they interact with the member in real time. Okay, let's circle back to that annual evaluation we mentioned a minute ago, because this is probably the single most rigid requirement in all the regulations. There is 0 flexibility here, and you can bet it's a major point that auditors are looking for. The regulation itself really says it all. It has to happen annually for evaluation of each worker. And this is the key part. It shall include observation of tasks performed and relationship with the consumer. Just reading that, you can feel how serious it is. This is not just a check-in. It is a formal, in-person evaluation of that caregiver's performance on the job. Let me just say this one more time so it really sinks in. While you can use telehealth for your general quarterly visits, totally fine, you absolutely, positively cannot use it for this annual worker evaluation. This one has to be done in the member's home with you watching the caregiver in action. No ifs, ands, or buts.
All right, we've made it to our final section, and you could argue it's the most important one. You can do everything else perfectly, but if you don't document it properly, then from a compliance standpoint, well, it never happened. Let's look at exactly what your records need to show.
Honestly, this slide is like the perfect template for your notes. For every single visit, your documentation has to include these 4 things. First, the basics: date, time, method, and location. Next, who was actually there? Then the specifics. What tasks did you observe and what was the outcome? And finally, any retraining or support you provided. You want to be detailed here. And remember, all this detailed evidence, it has to be filed and kept right there in the consumer's record. This documentation is your proof. It's what protects your agency. It's what makes you audit ready, and it's what shows your real commitment to providing amazing care. So, as we wrap things up, I'll just leave you with this one question to mull over. Take a good, hard look at your current processes, at your files. Can you say with confidence that your agency's documentation is truly audit-proof? I really hope this explainer has given you the tools to get there. Thanks so much for joining me.